Well, hello and welcome to the Jammin Jukebox radio show. I am your host, DJ Delta Dawn, and so glad to be here with you on Hump Day. Many people call it Hump Day, and with good reason. I mean, we're in the middle of the week. We're on the downhill slide now into the weekend, and I hope that your week so far has been wonderful. I want to say a huge hello and welcome to all the listeners out there this evening. And if you're brand new to our program, let me tell you, you have picked the right night to tune in because our guest tonight is spectacular. I am so honored that she is on our show. I have been a fan of hers for a very, very long time. Love her music. Have always adored her sound. And I'm just sitting here tonight going, wow, I cannot believe that she is in our midst. And for those of you who don't know who I'm talking about, let me give you a little bit of a quick, review. She unbelievably, has just done so many things through the span of her career. And to give you a little bit of an idea, she has done everything. She's put out 23 CDs and has sung with everybody from Al Green to Marvin Gaye to Aretha Franklin. The list goes on and on and on. And some of her most recent accomplishments, she was honored to perform on the #1 rated television show, American Idol, where she tore it up for an estimated audience of over 25 million people. And then after that, she was called on to open up for the finale of the huge summer show called America's Got Talent, and that was an estimated TV audience of over 18 million people. But it doesn't stop there. She has performed at national dinner receptions. She has been honored to perform in Denver when Barack Obama accepted a Democratic nomination. She just has done so many things beyond singing, and she is so gifted and so talented. And it's just amazing, the laundry list of things that she's done. And she has a brand new project out, which I think is just stellar in its own right. Just another feather in her cap. But she has collaborated with a 28-year-old producer named Janitor, who is deeply embedded in the Los Angeles indie rock scene. And between the two of them are 42 years. So the EP is brilliantly titled 42, and what a cool concept. But in any event, this is a brand new project she's working on, and it is a 5-song EP. It is absolutely phenomenal, and we're going to treat all you listeners to cut or two off of that before we wrap this evening. But I am so very proud and honored to welcome tonight Miss Thelma Houston. Hello, Thelma.
Hi, Delta Dawn. How are you?
I am absolutely wonderful, and I hope that you are as well.
Well, when you said I remember when I was working I had a gig working at a hospital as a nurse's aide, and we would look forward to that especially when you're going to get that weekend off.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that commercial that says hump day. When that camel says that.
Oh, my daughter walks around
so much for having me. What a glowing introduction. I'm thinking, Jesus, who's she talking about? Thank you so much.
It was like I could have talked about you for days. You have done so many things, and it's so, it is worth mentioning because, you have had such a phenomenal career, very stellar career. You have, you've won Grammys. You're so acclaimed in the business, and have even been called at one time a disco diva because, I came to know and love you with "Don't Leave Me This Way." And even to this day, it's still one of my favorite songs. The 70s was one of my favorite eras of music, but that song is one of my all-time favorites. I love it, Thelma, and you did such a great job on it. And so, thank you for that. But you've given us so many years of great music and performances, and even on the new record, you sound as good as ever. My gosh, it's just amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. This was such an interesting project for me to do because I had said that the next time, my you know, when you don't write, when you haven't been writing your own material, and I'm, you know, and even everybody said, oh, you should write, and it's like, well, you know, I wasn't feeling it, you know, I wasn't ever really feeling like I want to write. I got all the stuff I want to say, and it never started coming up for me until, you know, I said, well, you know what? After the last project that I did, I did an album of classic tunes, which was the one you were talking about, where I did the songs that were originally done by my favorite male artists like Al Green, Marvin Gaye, Sting, John Lennon, you know, and so I did my version of those songs. But still they've all, you know, those songs that have already been done by someone. So I said, you know what, the next time I do something, I'm going to at least have something on it that I've written myself. And so that's how this project kind of came about. Met Janitor when we were doing a benefit for an animal shelter up in Sonoma. And it was such a fun gig, and he was such a fine musician. He was playing the electric bass on this gig. And, you know, so just so musical, and he had this wonderful sense of humor. And so when we were done with the gig, I asked him would he be interested in doing collaborating. And he says, yeah, you know, he would. And so he went off to go on a tour, and I went off to tour. And then that was like in the fall. And in the beginning of that coming year, we started working together. And it's just, I don't know, we just really hit it off musically. It's just because our goal is to just do, you know, it's about our artistry and really putting out honest music and being, you know, not trying to be just, you know, do it because this is a commercial sound. In fact, we haven't even been able to define exactly what our sound was because we weren't, you know, usually it's for me anyway, particularly since Don't Leave Me This Way, it's always been, okay, since that was a big pop, you know, that was a pop song, we want to hit that market again. And sometimes you just can't repeat, you know, you just can't capture a moment in time. And, you know, you can't go back there. You need to grow and try to do other things. But that was always, it seems to me, from other records, you know, from being on, you know, just about every record company there is, that was always the goal. And so it was always working with a particular market in mind, where in this particular thing, it was the music, the song set the tone for the kind of music or the kind of feel that it would have. And that was just so freeing for me, and not to say, okay, well, we got to go for this market. We can't talk about this. We can't do this. We got to put something down. You know, we didn't feel any of those restrictions, and for me, I'm just so excited, you know, about this material. I'm really, really excited about it.
Yeah, and you know, the beauty of it is that now, you know, with the indie music market being what it is so freeing because artists really can, you know, take their creativity to a whole different level. You know, they're not boxed in, and they're not living by a set of standards that a record company is imposing on them, so to speak. And so I'm sure this was probably quite a different project for you as opposed to others that you've done in the past, was it not?
Oh, it certainly was, because that wasn't an issue. It wasn't an issue, you know, when money is being spent, somebody's, you know, record company, you know, when they're putting that money out for you, and you know, for studio time and stuff, then you know, they can kind of say, you know, they can say, well, you can record. Well, no, you know, you can record what you want, but you better believe that if, you know, it better be something that they're going to want to promote, and what they're going to want to promote is what's already out there. That's something that sounds like something that's already out there, so that they don't have, you know what I mean? So it was just so wonderful to do it this way, without having any of that, you know, being an issue, and just coming up with the tunes and being true to the music, and the music, you know, dictated what it was going to be. It was great. It was really great.
It is a phenomenal.
And Janet is such a fine musician that is just wonderful. And of course, he's so young. He wasn't influenced by "Don't Leave Me This Way" and trying to get that back again.
Well, the thing about it is the thing I love about that is this project. Your vocals on it are just stellar, and then coupled with his musicianship, you can definitely tell the chemistry and the pairing of the music. I mean, it turned out so wonderfully well, Thelma.
Oh, thank you. Well, there's one song that we plan to do a series of these, different EPs instead of having a whole album and trying to make a whole album fit together. We try to do things, and it's the total combination of what we're doing. We call our total thing is Conscious Club, which means we're trying to talk about something that's relevant. So we're having that part of it. That's really great. But I was going to say that there was one particular song, and it was really a song. Like I said, it isn't on this EP, but it was a song called. The name of it is Oasis, and so I was saying I was trying to come up with a line. I said, Janet, it's just like when you like it's like a lake, like if you're like like you were a lake, and all of a sudden, you dried up, and it's like he says, I was a lake, my pristine water's gone. I thought, oh my God, you're perfect.
Wow, that is perfect.
He knew the language, you know what I mean, and he's young, but he wasn't like, what, like a lake, what, water dried up. You know what I mean? He totally got it. And there was another song that again, that's not on this one, but it's going to be coming out. I said, when we first got together, he said, so what kind of songs, what kind of music do you want? I said, well, one thing, I really don't want to be up in the club. I said, I'm not, I'm not that I said, I occasionally will go to a club, but that's everyone's. I'm not up in the club. I'm not trying to find somebody up in the club. He says, I get it. He says, what about come out of the club and get into your life? I said, oh my God, you're so good. You're perfect.
I know that he really gets it, and to be so young,
he
that's all the
totally
more
gets
impressive.
it. And he's 20. When we started working together, he was 27. And so he just turned to us. So we've worked together for a year, and he's so, he's one of those, first of all, he's just so musical, and he does the indie music thing, but he's also does jazz. He works, he does a lot of work with jazz bands, and he plays, R&B and, all of those. So it's so and gospel. So he's all around. He's very good.
Well, and he also, just the way you describe him, it sounds like he's quite a visionary musically, and he kind of he doesn't have to be our age to know what real music is all about. I mean, he seems to really get it, and that's going to carry him a long way.
It will, and that's the whole point of this project, is that music can tie music. Music is ageless, and music, true music and true artistry ties together. And when you come together to create real music, then you're coming from the standpoint of the music. And age is a number; it doesn't have anything to do with, what I mean, with you can relate. You can relate on the music. That's what you have in common is the music.
And definitely.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of the music, I mean, you have been in this industry a long time, and you've made numerous records, as we all know. And talk a little bit, Thelma, about what has been the most glaring change in the music industry that you've seen just in recent years?
Well, let's go back to when I feel that the music took a turn towards becoming a more visual, a more of a visual. The visual was more important to me than the sound or the singing. Then it started to become more. Even if you had like the good, like a, to me, the all-around person that I felt was just so talented and just an all-around entertainer, singing, you know, the whole thing on a show was Sammy Davis Jr.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when Sammy Davis Jr. toured, you didn't see Sammy Davis Jr. with you know, 2 or 3 18-wheelers coming out, you know, to do his laser show and to do all these things. So I see where where the technical part of it has become sometimes has replaced, you know, with the artistry in some instances. I've seen that, and that, you know, and I've also seen it grow in terms of the live production thing. It's really big, but I've also seen a huge drop in terms of the record sales. They're not nearly what they used to be. That part of it. I see a lot of, with all of these reality shows, you know, I've never known there was so many would-be singers out there in the world. Or in one location. I mean, everybody and their mother is a singer now. I mean, or at least everybody believes that they are.
Yeah.
And that's interesting to me. Someone was asking me how do I think that I would have fared had I, you know, if this had been the order, you know, of things when I, you know, was coming up, and I would have had to say to them that I would not have, you know, I would not have been. First of all, I would never have done it to be so in such a competitive feel like that. That just never would have happened. I just never would have done it. So I probably would never. I would have just been happy, I guess, to sing in my choir or my local, you know, weddings and funerals as I had been in the past, because that's just a bit much for me, you know.
And I'm so glad that the music industry back then was not like it is today, because we would have missed out if you had not pursued it. I can tell you that. You're just one of those legendary artists that will always stand out and will always be remembered no matter what project you're undertaking. And I love the fact that this new project is so different from what you, and apart from what we've been used to hearing from you through the years, and I think it's awesome. And speaking of, do you have a particular song on the project that is just your personal favorite?
Yes. On the new project?
Yes, on the new project.
Just, can you hold 1 second? Someone's trying to reach me. Hold on 1 second, please.
Certainly.
Yes, I'm doing an interview long distance. That's why I couldn't. But I'm here. I'm going to be here at 5:30. I'm home. Okay, bye. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's not a problem at all.
I'm sorry. That was someone was coming to do my landscape, and we've already said I was going to be here for 5:30.
Well, you know what? I think it's kind of
he's coming from Long Beach, so I guess he just wants to make sure.
Well, I think it's kind of cool because
you said, now, is one of these songs, or one of these my particular favorite?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say one in particular, because, you know, one thing that I must say about this project is, it's like in the past, even starting with my very first recording, I could always, I would of course give my very best in interpreting it and give my best performance on every song that I've ever chosen to do. If I choose to do it and make it, you know, and take the time to go into the studio, I'm going to do it the best I can. Mm-hmm. However, because I didn't write the songs for the most part, I could take ownership for the performance of them, but not necessarily ownership for, in most cases, the production and or the writing of it, and pretty much the arranging. Sometimes, you know, except for my vocal arrangement that I would do, you know, in my interpretation of the song. But for this, I take total and full responsibility for each and every one of them. And they're like, you know, it's like asking, you know, which one of your children do you like the best? You love them all. I have two children. I have a son and a daughter, and I love them both. I have different, a loving relationship with both of them, but it's a different relationship with both of them. So that's the way I have to do, with these songs. And where I was coming from. Each one of them, some of them they were inspired. They were like, some of them like Colorblind was a song that Gabe brought, he had the track pretty much. He had an idea of what he wanted. He was going to call it, the song was going to call it Colorblind. Then Enemy was the very first song that we ever did. And that was, for me, was from a personal experience that had happened, and it was something that really took me to that place. And that was, like I said, that was the first song that we ever wrote. The last song on it is a song that's very special because it deals with, it was inspired by my mom. My mom is 93, and my mom has dementia. And so in dealing with my mom and being around her and taking her to her doctor's appointments and being around other patients, and there are some patients that they kind of they're brought by the ambulance and kind of left there, and, they're kind of like on their own. And so, but also when Gabe and I were, when we were recording, when we got to the actual recording of the song, we both realized that, well, that may have been the inspiration for it, but that's something that we all long for in our lives. We all want somebody to be there for us, when those times in our lives are not, when everything isn't perfect. We need just that little pat on the back, just that pat on the shoulder to say you can do it, hang in there. So it isn't necessarily about the later part of your life. It's about at any time in your life.
Yeah.
And that's how these songs have kind of unfolded for me. So I hope that answers your question about the song.
Definitely. And I could gather. I mean, this project, what I love so much about it, Thelma, was the fact that, as I listened to it, there were just so many identifiers for me, personal identifiers of it just spoke to me in so many different ways. And as I'm sure anyone who hears it, it speaks to them because we've all been through things. And and it was just such a motivational type record that, that just kind of reminds us that going may get tough at times, but we got to keep the faith and got to keep going, and things will be okay. But at the same time, it reminds us, we have those dark moments where, we have to work to pull through. We have people that pull us through them, and then we're better for it, on the other side of it. So it was it's just a beautifully done project. I love how you put your heart and soul in this, and you can tell how personal it is for you. It shines through on the project, and definitely spoke to me in so many different ways. So I'm very excited about it, and I'm excited for future projects that you're going to do with Janitor and how they're all going to shape up.
Oh, thank you. So am I. I look forward to each writing session that we do. I look forward to it. I just love it, and it's I dig it.
Well,
yeah,
Thelma,
and I feel that I'm growing as a person. I'm growing as an artist, and that makes me feel really good. That at this point in time in my life, I'm not like, oh my God, get me out of here. I'm still excited. I'm still excited about and still feel very fortunate that I get to make my living at doing this, and so it's a pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well,
and when your grandson says, Grandma, what are you doing? Can I hear some of your music? And his favorite song is Surreal Deal. That's his favorite song.
Oh yeah.
And he's like that ever since I let him hear the track and with just the work vocal on it. Mm-hmm. And he knows all the words. He's like, well, he was 11, now he's 12. So he knows that that's still his favorite song.
Oh,
and I
wow.
thought, oh God, that's so grown up.
It is, isn't it? And and it's got to make you proud.
He's a very mature kid, and that just so it's something for everybody.
That's so true. And he gets to go to school and tell all his friends, my grandmother is Thelma Houston, and she has a brand new album out, and here's what it is. So I know he's very proud of you for sure.
Oh, he is, and I am so proud of him as well.
Oh,
yeah.
I have a grandson who is 18 months, and he is my pride and joy. So I know all too well that being a grandparent, there's nothing like it, and they do make us proud.
There's nothing like it, and to really get to be one. You know, I have a lot of my friends, or not a lot of them, but some of my friends are having to raise, you know, and they're happy to do so. Thank God that they're there. But it's really a blessing to be able to be a grandparent, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Where you just,
yes.
Where you just get to do the spoiling part, and you're able to give them back and just do all the good stuff, and don't have to do the discipline stuff and all that.
That's what's so wonderful about grandparenting is, you know, we did get to spoil them and give them back, and I guess that's where the grand and parenting comes from. You know, we get the grandchildren.
Exactly.
Well, Thelma, this has been just an extraordinary pleasure to have you on our show, to speak with you about this project. I am so excited about it, and as I said, just excited for any new projects you have coming, as I know you will. But thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us this evening. It's been so much fun.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking to you. It wasn't like it was an interview. It was like we were having a conversation, and I love that.
Well, I like that myself. It gets too rote when you're asking questions all the time. So I'm glad you did, and it's my pleasure to have you here. So thank you so much, and God bless you and all that you continue to do.
Thank you, and same to you, too.
All right. Thank you. Take care. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it, folks. We have been speaking with the legendary Thelma Houston. And for those of you who are listening who may be too young to know who she is, I must tell you, go check her out. Check out her website. Check out YouTube. Look at all of the music she's put out. I mean, she's put out 23 albums and does a phenomenal job. I mean, she's always been one of those female artists that you just know every time she puts a project out, it's going to be awesome. And but her website is thelmahouston.com, and her latest project is it's called 42, and it's a collaboration effort with a 28-year-old producer named Janitor, and it is a 5-song EP, and it is off the chain good. It is kind of an infused mix of electronic and R&B and indie pop music, but it's kind of, you know, you kind of get a jazz feel, a hip hop feel, power pop. I mean, it's a great blend of a lot of musical sounds, which you don't often get in today's music, and you certainly don't get that in mainstream music. So she's done a phenomenal job with it, and I want to play the first track off of the EP now for you. It is one of my personal favorites, and it really is kind of a relatable song. Her vocals on this are just unbelievable. I mean, Thelma Houston has been making music for so long, and it just never gets old. She is just a phenomenal musician. So I want to go ahead and play this. This is the brand new project from Thelma Houston and Janitor, entitled 42, and this is the first cut off of that called Enemy. Take a listen.
Everybody say they love you. Don't. Everybody say they will. Won't. Oh yeah. Oh no. So confused. When you're on your own, are you keeping company? When you're all alone, are you sleeping with the enemy? Is the enemy in your bed? Are you living with the enemy? Is the enemy
Thelma Houston and Janitor collaborating together on a brand new EP entitled 42, and that is the first cut off of that called Enemy. And I tell you, I love that musical interlude at the near the end of that. Just beautiful. Her vocals, and you understand now why I just went on and on about this EP, because these two collaborating together, his immense musical talent, her immense vocal ability, just a great pairing, and so definitely look forward to future projects from them as time goes on. So we want to thank Thelma Houston, give her a huge shout out and tremendous thanks for being our special guest again this evening, and many, many thanks to all of you as well for being here with us and sharing your time. And also, if you're brand new, welcome aboard. Hope that you enjoyed the show tonight, and man, what a great night you picked to tune in. So thank you to everyone. So that is going to wrap our show, folks, and it has been a wonderful evening, and certainly love what we do, but more importantly, we love when we can have guests like Miss Thelma Houston on with us. So very, very appreciative and so happy. So in any event, everyone enjoy the rest of your hump day, and as the rest of your week unfolds, I hope it's a great one, and I hope that your weekend will be as well. So that is going to do it for this evening, folks. Take care, everyone, and have a wonderful night, and we'll see you again real soon. God bless.
Thanks for listening to tonight's show. You can connect with Jammin' Jukebox Radio Show on Twitter at Jammin' Jukebox or on Facebook at Jammin' Jukebox Radio Show. Check out our website at thejamminjukebox.com. Also, follow us on Blog Talk, where you will be always up to date on every episode as we add it. Each episode is available for immediate download upon the conclusion of each broadcast, and as always on iTunes. Thank you for joining us.